Greetings, my name is Buhle and the same name is Khadema. I'd like to welcome you once again to the Reflective Video Journals. If you are coming in and you did not catch up on last week's episode, we did say that today's episode is basically going to be about Intwaso gone wrong, actually Iphehlo gone wrong, shortcuts taken, as well as transitioning from Iphehlo 1 to Iphehlo 2, and where we are at today as we stand. So then in the last episode I did speak about how I had initially left Iphehlo 1 and I was now at home working when dreams and communication from the spirit realm came, and then the communication was that I needed to go back to Iphehlo and redo almost the entire process. So me being me, I was like no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, why would you expect that of me? I can't have gone a journey of thousands and thousands, and you guys were quiet all this time, and you decided that you're gonna wait for me to get home, and upon me getting it home, you're gonna say I should go and start over. So I wasn't willing to do that, and instead I remember partnering and telling ancestors that, you know what, I think you guys need to come through and actually say, Uguti, how can you guys fix it? Because you were the ones that were then quiet this whole time. So meaning that then I shifted the blame from myself and from the person who had done certain things to them, because I personally believe that they were supposed to have said something. I mean, you guys are in the spirit realm and you guys are the one that sent me there. So why are you not saying anything? Only for them to then come later on and show me instances where so many times they told me that, one, my journey there was done and I needed to leave that place, and I ignored that communication. And they then showed me these instances where so many times we showed you that now this is no longer the place that is going to serve you and that is going to allow us to grow, right? And I remember this one specific dream while I was in that particular Iphehlo where I dreamt of there's three of my guides who came through, and they were always a trio. It was Maria, no, I have forgotten that one, but they always came in three folds. There were three sisters, like, you know, there were the three Ngwenya sisters, and I remember that when they came in that particular dream, I was sleeping, and then upon them coming, they said in the dream, they started packing suitcases. They started packing suitcases, and they said they were leaving. And I asked them, "Where are you guys going?" And they said, they're not gonna be here with me anymore. So if I want to speak to them, and if I want their counsel, then I must go to the fields or go to the water or go elsewhere, but not in this particular yard, meaning that particular yard that I was initiating in at that time. And I remember then when I woke up from that dream, I was like, why would they say that? And then since that time then was the last time at that particular point in my life that I stopped dreaming of them. And I remember when I would go into trances, I would see them outside the gate in that particular yard. And so whenever I would then communicate this, you know, it was either they were done. This is the response that I'd always be given, that they were done, they'd played their part, and they needed to move on to other things, which then was not true. And I discovered this a bit later, that no, this was not true. This was us actually telling you that as we were the three people that were sent to always facilitate this particular journey in your life, we are leaving you. Meaning that those people left me there a long time ago, and I did not even know, because the person that was supposed to help me understand communication when it comes to ancestors and how they communicate and what they want, decided that they are going to twist what was being communicated in their favor for me to stay in that particular place. Right? So upon then, now me being at home and them saying that certain things were not done, so many things were not done in that journey. Yes, they did acknowledge it so that it happened the right way. They didn't have a problem. But then the communication was then that so many people or so many things were not facilitated as and when they should have facilitated. Point one. Then they took me now on a reverse catch up. They made me now catch up, right? Let's catch up on why we say certain things were not done. One, Iinkonjane, right? These people, upon my arrival, I remember when they said they wanted Iinkonjane done. I remember we all didn't understand what they meant, because I said that while I was in a trance with Iinkonjane, but we didn't know what Iinkonjane was. And upon actually sitting with that particular message, they later then came to say Iinkonjane is what other people refer to as tsunami, right? So they wanted that, right? And that was not done. And that's one thing that is done ceremonially, and there's herbs and whatnot that happens while they put on a tsunami on you. So when they asked for that, that communication was ignored, right? And instead they told me to get a wig as an alternative or as a symbolism. One, they marked that as one, right? Then there was a second dream that came from these particular people, where one of the male guides came through, and he said he does acknowledge that I'm undergoing indwaso yabo togoza. I am undergoing indwaso mpande. However, he then asked that amidst doing all this, we prioritize Amakosi first, right? Because these are the people that come with a lot of things, right? And that particular spiritual mentor could not help me in that regard. Could not help me in that regard. And so he prioritized at the time what could serve the mandate of what was in his scope of practice, which is Utogoza Numdao, right? So months progressed, and this communication would come every week, where this man is coming and saying, but you're not doing what we're saying we should do. And every time I go there and say this, I was told Gogo will attend to it. And again, it was being ignored, right? Until at a later stage where I literally went into a trance, and the communication was that I am not going to go through Indwaso Yabotogoza Gogo and finish it and live unless then they are also incorporated into that. That was the only time that step was taken, right? So meaning that my ancestors had to now use aggression and give an ultimatum for their requests to be heeded, for what they're asking for to happen. They now had to give us an ultimatum in the process to say, you know what, if you're going to take this child in this form without having done what we are saying, if they're going to go towards then they're not going to live. They're not going to come out of it alive, right? Hi, okay, fine. And then we found a way to now do this, but now also you need to understand it now in the spiritual realm. It carries a lot of folk vibes, because now ancestors had to now deal with it in a sensitivity. It's no longer voluntary and it's no longer guidance, but instead it's an ultimatum, and it's being done because it's an ultimatum. So that's two, right? And then now we get to a point where amidst all of this, my guys are like, they wanted me specifically to go to an ocean. They'd given me a particular ocean that they wanted me to go to, right? And I had to hlangabeza Australia apho, you know. And then the communication was that I needed to go with my mom, I needed to go with my uncle, I needed to go with my gomela. So I did that communicate. I told them, that spiritual mentor at the time, it's okay, you know what? This is the communication and this is what's coming through and this is what needs to happen. And then obviously he was like, okay, fine, we'll see what can happen. And weeks passed and weeks progressed, and every time I come with communication, again, it's being ignored. Nothing is being done, right? And I could feel also while I was there at the time that, you know what, the people that I came here because they sent me here are starting to now keep quiet in everything that is happening, right? They are starting to keep quiet. And so now, this is funny. So 2 weeks before now, what is initially supposed to be in Dwaso, 2 or 3 weeks, I think, before the initial Dwaso, this is what happens. I then decide that I'm going to confront him because, hey, communication has come and nothing has been happening. And these people are bothering me. You know, they used to bother me to such an extent that I would wake up in the middle of the night and feel like I was sleeping in the middle of an ocean. Like, I would see water everywhere. And whenever I ask the people I'm sleeping next to, do you see water in this room? And they didn't see anything. And that's where I understood that, no, the people in the waters, they really, really, really want to see me. And so I asked him, and he then straight up said, like, no, I'm not going to go with you. I think you should go alone. Like, I think you should go alone. Like, he literally said that, I think you should go alone. I trust you, and I trust the fact that you would know. So I went. I went with my mom. At the time, I did not have enough to also accommodate my uncle because finances, you know, in Dwaso and finances, you will always be broke, my sister, my brother, you will always be broke if you're undergoing that process. So I did not have enough for me to have to transport or to go with my mother and my uncle at the same time. However, what we did then, we went home and we did Iphehlo at home, where my uncle was actually asking on my behalf and actually saying Guti, he cannot be in that particular ocean at the time. Yeah. Okay, fine. I get there, I do Gobongo, take it Gobongo as instructed, as and when instructed. They should say put these herbs and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. I went to, it was they wanted me Amanzimdoti in Durban. I went to Amanzimdoti. Upon arriving at Amanzimdoti, the atmosphere, I already felt Yazin. It, like, I was waiting, like the name barely, like everything just went. It was a smooth arrival. The atmosphere, the things that happened while I was there, you know, everything was just, it was just smooth and smooth and smooth and smooth. And when I got there, I'd given them Miladilabo as they'd asked, you know, everything that they asked for in my dreams. And I remember I did Saphahla noma Sayenza konke kumele sikwenze, sanikela, fine. How? Sanikela, okay, fine. And then we went back to the B&B we had hired. Okay, and then we decided we're gonna go to the mall to get food and whatnot, eat and come back. So while I was sleeping at night, then communication came from the people to say, okay, they see what I've done, they see my arrival. However, they're asking for me to come at 3 a.m. I need to meet them at 3 in the morning. I need to go and do Gobongola at 3 in the morning. And I was like, okay, fine. Me, I'm very scared, but hey, I'm gonna wake up this woman who's right next to me, and we're gonna go together. And luckily, because we had hired the B&B we had hired, it was right next, so you could exit from the other gate and then walk towards the beach. So it wasn't far. So even from our room, you could see the beach. So but the beach wasn't really far from there. And so we went in the morning at 3. Oh, I did my kobonga there. Like the kobonga, like it did limanga, like lavuma, like I just, even when I was hitting it, while I was hitting it, like it was like, it was like, no, God, like so many things. And I remember the clarity in my other sensory abilities where I could hear direct communication, and I was like, oh, okay. I see what needed to be opened from here, right? I see what needed to happen. Okay, in the morning again, I went to Iphehlo to say my babas and my whatnots, and then we came back then to Joburg, and okay, my mom got to Joburg, and then I went back to Iphehlo in Metro. So as I'm getting there, I'm supposed to give now feedback to him what happens to my supposed spiritual mentor. I'm supposed to give him feedback what happens, and something says to me, no, just tell him everything went fine. He doesn't need to know the details. You don't need to be, because now that's the relationship that my guys had formulated with him. It was now like a, yeah, whatever, speak very little, do what needs to be done type of thing, right? So I told him, I know it went well, blah blah blah. Okay, fine. Progress. So then now from there, then we're transitioning into Indwaso, right? Twasa and Paso weekend, everything goes well until the following week, where Ugogo comes and she says, yes, Indwaso was done right. However, what's happening in the spirit realm is that your paternal ancestors feel that they were not included in the process. And I know this was so true. Because I'd received so much communication from them, from the people I was tussling with, and from them directly saying that, you know what, we see you, please call us, please invite us, please allow us to be in this process with you. And even one of my buffers said they did complain that you don't speak to them, you know, and rightfully so. I did not know how to address them. Like, honestly, I did not know if they were the people that did these things or they didn't do these. So I didn't know much about them, you know, because my paternal ancestors, paternally, I didn't have a very present and active paternal family, and everything I'd done was done by my maternal side of the family. And even though my dad is very there in my life, he had never even bothered to actually give me the cultural and the spiritual background of the home where he's from. I just know his surname, I just know but anything beyond that I did not know. Right, and so I also did not know how to incorporate them. So upon then this grandmother arriving, Uti, your paternal ancestors, we've been having communications in the spirit realm together, and they feel that they were not involved in the process, right? And so also she did say that personally they don't have a problem with them, that sorted out certain things in a way that find a way to compensate each other for the mistake that is me that happened in somewhere, right? Okay, but I was the one that was not welcoming to them, and also simply I did say it's because I did not know how to involve them, what they need to do or what I need to do with them. So then I took that communication and then I went to a spiritual mentor and I told him, this is my the communication from those people, right? They are saying that they feel that they needed to be a part of the home DOSA process. And he straight up looked at me and told me that those ancestors were dark ancestors, and isikhwama sawo simnyama and whatnot. Not once did he communicate with them to find out exactly what is going on. Not once did he sit and want to know from my maternal ancestors what was happening. Not once did he consult with the people that not once did he communicate with the people that had brought me to Iphehlo regarding this particular communication. Because personally, okay, let me not say personal, right? Let me say then, upon now receiving that communication, right, they were saying he was supposed to then ask them if he did not understand what was meant, because the communication, yes, came from my maternal guides regarding my paternal guides, and therefore if he felt that he could communicate better with my maternal guides, then he needed to then now consult with these maternal guides so that they can give him clarity on the communication regarding my paternal guides and how he needed to move forward. And yes, it's true, it's true, there was a little bit of darkness with my paternal side of isikhwama, and it's not darkness in the sense that betagata or whatnot, but it's because so many people had attempted to take isikhwama from that particular family. So many of them, they take it when things were now critical. So because of the form of isikhwama they had, then they would vamos, so then there was just that darkness regarding this isikhwama with the people that were supposed to take loan ceilings, kept passing and passing and passing, and nobody thought of actually cleansing umsebenzi and cleansing isikhwama, because now it was hovered by that mourning or lobo bumnyama lobo that comes with death, right? And so it was true when he said that simnyama, but it basically mnyama in a sense, like it was being made with simnyama in a sense ukuthi yatagata or betagata or anything. No, it was just the sense ukuthi people that were given those gifts from my paternal side of the family, they never wanted the gifts, and every time they went because now they were being dragged to go by ancestors, and so because now it was so then they would end up dying while in the process of Indoaso. Great. So now I'm trying not to be so long. I'm gonna stop. So those were now the communication that I was receiving from my guide, saying from day one we told you. So you needed to move. You needed to change. And we knew that particular person is not going to be able to now do, because also he's focusing on whatever he's focusing on, and it's got nothing to do with you, and it's got nothing to do with our growth. And so I stayed at home, and then I was like, I'll see this after a homecoming. Fine. As I'm preparing now towards homecoming, and you need to understand the energy is now changing, because I'm receiving now communication from my own ancestors saying the space that you were in was not the correct space, and we tried to warn you that space was not right for you. And so now I'm also now, my attitude towards that particular space, even when there's Nkiti and whatnot, I'm always like a show face vibe type of person. Don't drink anything, don't eat anything, don't do whatever, just show face, do what's required of you, vamos, and so Izangoma would know, healers would know, Abatagati would know that once people start to see that you have seen what they do for you, or what they've done to you, and once they start to see that you see that all along you've been clouded, right? All along you've been clouded and clouded and clouded and clouded. And one day, your ancestors decide to say, enough is enough. We are going to unveil everything. And because now you see the reality of things and how you had been fooled, right? So you initially become a threat. So something is gonna temper with something. So I got hit. Right? So now I got hit with, and I almost died there. I don't lie. I almost died because what they hit me with was supposed to have been a thing that is utuganeza, guys. I don't know what you call it in English, but utuganeze. They hit me with utuganeze, right? And this thing was put in water. I asked for a glass of water. I went to that particular skodlo and I asked for water, and they put this thing in me for water, and I went insane. I went crazy. Right? Crazy to such an extent that I wake up in a hospital, chained, and nobody is there to account to my mother what happens or what happened to me moving from, because I left home saying I'm going to this man's house. I get to this man's house, I'm now in hospital. Something doesn't add up, because also my mom knows this very well. I left the house, okay. There was nothing in any way. So also there was no one to show up to say, this is what happened. Everyone was not answering their phone. People kept quiet. They were ignoring my mom's calls. They were ignoring any communication from my brother. They just decided to keep quiet, right? And not say anything. So then upon now, I stayed in the hospital for a good 3 weeks. Yeah, stayed in hospital for a good 3 weeks, and now I came, and so that was now the transition into the second Iphehlo, because I couldn't go back there. The truth is that if I went back there, they were gonna finish off what they'd started, right? Which didn't succeed in the first place when it was done, right? To such an extent that because Amawele stood up when that thing happened, like they were fighting. They were fighting that not with this one and not now. Fine. So upon then now leaving, I then went into who now is my second Iphehlo and my second Gobela. That's where now I complete, and now this process involves the entire family. Everybody's involved. Everyone is doing what they should and when they should be doing it. Maternal, paternal, everyone is just hands-on with that particular indwaso until I returned home, right? I returned home and everything went okay. I was healed from whatever thing they put in me there, and I'd also received a response from my maternals and my paternals saying they are thankful for what had happened. And also they also did say that my maternal actually did express the fact that they were very hurt by how things had happened, like makubegile, and it's actually going to take them time to want to come out and serve. So then I think they were sort of saying that they wanted to regroup and allow me space to also merge the life that I knew then and the life that I'm living now, coming back at Iphehlo. So I think they gave me the time and space to sort of find myself, right? Before I would then now go back and consult people and work and so for the longest of time, then the work that they would give for me to do was the work of healing them, right? Was the work of understanding them and understanding myself within this journey. And yeah, today I stand here in a much better position. I'm not even angered by what had happened there. In fact, I'm very glad that it happened, because had it not been that it happened, then I wouldn't have found out of certain things regarding both my maternal and my paternal ancestors and who was actually responsible for some of the things in my life happening and some of the things in my life not happening. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna talk about in next week's episode. But once again, we are still here, and these are reflective journals, personal stories, and I'm just hoping that whatever it is that I'm sharing with you will help you shed light in your own journey. I really appreciate it if you got here. I really appreciate it if you can leave a comment. I'd appreciate it if you can ask questions, anything that you also feel that I need to engage with. Like I said, I'm still fairly new to YouTube, and I'm trying. Other than that, thank you.